They're freaking out, they're hungry, and then they eat again, and then they feel really good, and then they down and up and down. So that is our American society. We need to fix that. It's very, very hard on the human body. It's hard on all our cells in our body. People become insulin resistant, and it creates a whole cascade of big bad problems for us. So carbohydrates are fantastic. So that little village of people out in the mountains need carbohydrates. We need that, things that grow. What we don't need is American products of food, because it screws us up. It causes lots of problems. So when we do this little metabolic burner test, it kind of puts us in categories, and you'll see when you read some of those questions, you're going, oh God, that's me. Oh, like, that one's me. You know, maybe you're not so sure about this one or that one, but you know, it kind of makes sense. And so we are genetically predetermined to be who we are, and through our, you know, hereditary and all that kind of stuff, we are kind of predestined to be a certain way. And so we are all different. We are each and every one of us all different, but there are kind of some groups here. And so we handle carbohydrates better or worse than others. And so depending on the burner type you are, so you know, lots of people are kind of in the mixed burner, and so you're seeing, when you look at your plate, this is a plate of food. So this is what a plate is supposed to look like. And then for the muscle burners, for example, the carbohydrate slice is like 3 to 5 bites. It's small. Okay, so that person, because their phenotype, needs to limit carbs, because we know that carbs are not going to work well for them. Maybe we can get better over time, but right now, this is what we need to do. And a muscle burner is on the other thing. They can go like 7 to 15, you know, bites of carbs. Bites is kind of a good way to do it. We don't have to measure grams. We don't have to do all that kind of stuff. We can go, okay, I took a bite. It's pretty easy, right? People try to do the thing, well, the size of my palm or whatever. Like, forget all that. Just do it with bites. It works. You can see the plate there. Half the plate is vegetables. Okay, that vegetables have they're nutrient dense. They have all kinds of micronutrients. We need that. Our bodies are supposed to have it. Do it, take it, we need it. Eat vegetables. And then protein is a big deal. Protein is life. Protein is muscle building. Protein is all that repair that we need to do while we're sleeping. I wanted to talk about sleep. Super important. And then the carbs are far less important. Okay, we have two systems. I said I was going to talk about keto. Right now, we'll just limit the carbs. We need to limit the carbs. We need to get our bodies into balance. We're going to, for 30 days, try to give our bodies a break and find a level of balance. You will be shocked at how well you feel. It's amazing. People that have all kinds of issues just go away. Things that you would think that have nothing to do with diet, it goes away. It's shocking, it's weird, but it's awesome. So we want to limit carbs. That's a big deal. So we say, okay, Whole30, okay, we're going to have Whole30 foods, but it's not going to work that well for us if we're not cognizant of what we're doing to our bodies with the carbs, level of carbs. Now this can change later, but we need to do this for 30 days. We need to give ourselves a reset. We need to give our bodies a break. We need to try to get balanced in this period of time. That's our goal. And all this other stuff is just trying to find a level of balance. And then we can go from there. Post 30 days, this is an awesome, like you can go to the doctor and say, I want to do a food allergy test. You know, it costs a bunch of money. You are doing a food allergy test. So there's no grains, there's no legumes, there's no dairy, there's no all that kind of stuff. People say, I'm great with dairy. Probably not. So when you do this clean for 30 days, then you can, this is what you should do, introduce one food. So I used to have a bagel every morning. And so for 2 mornings you have a bagel and see what happens. Your body will tell you right away if this is something that you should have. It will tell you. Some people, it tells them harder than they ever want. So, but if you went out and had a pizza, now you've got flour, you've got sugar, you've got some fake meat and chemicals and garbage, and you have no idea what made you throw up. Okay? So what was it? So you need to do one thing and one thing only. And so this can change your life. I wish for all of you that from this moment on, it's this cascade of learning more and doing more and becoming more healthy. Anyone, and so I mentioned earlier, I said I was going to say it once, I'm going to say it twice, because I have to. Anyone that is a parent, you need to do this, then you need to learn it, you need to understand what's going on, you need to change the way you eat, you need to change what you do, and then you need to change your household. Because you are if you don't, in this society, this is guaranteed, you are sentencing your children to big, bad, horrible diseases. And much sooner than we ever had. This statistic is over 10 years old. For the first time in history, children are not expected to live longer than their parents. That stat is about 10 years old. For the first time in history, the children are not expected to live longer than their parents. That is absolutely stunningly ridiculous, and we have the power to do something about it. And, okay, I'm going to say this is the third time I'm going to say this. Okay, so I go somewhere, and I see some lady's grocery cart in the grocery store. Could be a guy, or whatever, doesn't matter. And there's all these products. And there's cases of pop, there's chips, and all kinds of garbage and whatever. And then there's a bunch of kids running around, and the candy's on the aisle and all that stuff. And then, can I have this, whatever. And there's all this garbage in the cart. Okay, here's what needs to happen. I'm serious. That person needs to be arrested for child endangerment and should go to jail and then have to take an educational program every day, learning how not to abuse her children, and by feeding them real food and not giving them diabetes, Alzheimer's, all of these diseases, which they absolutely, I'm not sure if you believe me, but Google it, they're going to get these. They're going to get them because they're young now and they're having a far worse diet at a very early age than you ever had. It is going to be markedly worse for them, and if you don't do something about it, it's your responsibility. You're the parent. If you want to do something wonderful in your life, change your children's eating habits and educate them. And is it hard? Okay, I had 2 stepdaughters. Okay, so is it hard? Oh yeah, it's hard. Is it any fun? It's no fun at all. But we know that if you let them play hockey in the freeway, there's a possibility they're going to get run over by a semi. Okay, we know that, so generally we don't do that. We don't let them jump off giant cliffs because we got a pretty good idea that when they do hit that water, it's going to be bad. So most of that stuff, we get that, and we don't let them do it. What parents are doing to their children is absolutely WTF horrible. And so we could call it ignorance, we could call it avoidance, I don't know what you want to call it, but you've heard this, so here's the real problem. So once you have knowledge, if you act on it or don't act on it, it's not your decision, and I put the responsibility on you. That sucks for you. Okay, so now you know this stuff, and if you believe me, you have a responsibility to do something about your children. And I can't help but say that because it's criminal. It really is. These people are going to suffer. And you see all kinds of little kids running around overweight and obese already. All that stuff's going to happen. So in diabetes, people end up getting amputations and all that kind of stuff. This all happens. This all is real. And it's going to happen in earlier and earlier decades with people. So it's a real thing. Alzheimer's is going through the roof. And most people nowadays believe that Alzheimer's is predicated on sugar. Our brain runs on sugar, but there's problems with it. It's too big, too long. And so, and then after this, there's also, I can tell you the keto diet, but our body has 2 systems. So if you think about indigenous peoples in a society that had a winter. Okay, so in the summer they had carbohydrates, they had fruit and vegetables, whatever they had, and then they tried to figure out how to store it in the nuts and everything. They try to store it the best they can, and then that stuff runs out. And now all they got is meat and fish and whatever they can come up with. they've got virtually no carbohydrates and protein only, protein and fat. And so how long is our winter here in Minnesota? How long do we go without something growing here in the ground? Way too long. I hear that. So it's a long time. So let's say there's a growing season of 2 months, and then you got really good at storing it all and making it last for another 3 or 4 months. So let's say you've got stuff for, I don't know, 6 months at the very best, and now it's all protein and fat. Guess what? Our human bodies have 2 systems, 2 energy systems. One is carbohydrates and one is fats. And that is the ketogenic diet. It's kind of popular right now, but it's been well known forever, and cavemen knew about it because that's how they survived in the winter. So, and that's one of the ways not to get Alzheimer's. But anyway, so it's late. We have to wrap this up. I'm talking as fast as I can. And so, does anyone have any questions about anything, how the program works? They said we're going to do evals. We have. It kind of starts on Monday. You can shop. You should buy. When you look at the whole 30, there's a Dirty Dozen, all kind of thing. Clean 15. You should buy organic wherever possible. Grocery store meat will kill you. All those studies that say saturated fat kill you, meat kill you. The grocery store meat will kill you. Grass-fed stuff makes you better. I could talk forever about this stuff, but try to buy the best quality foods that you can for 30 days. Try it. Check it out. It'll make a difference. We're going to have a recipe dinner one weekend. I think it's on Sunday date. I don't remember. At the end, we'll have if you're going to do the thing, maybe when you do the eval, we'll get you signed up. I am going to charge $20. This is all free. Anybody who says, I'm out, this is ridiculous, you don't have to do the 30, you can do whatever you want. But if you're going to do the challenge, I'm charging $20. We're going to have prizes at the recipe dinner thing, which is a cool thing. You need to go to that. First time I was like, oh, this is kind of lame. I'm going to this recipe thing. But the food is awesome. It's killer. It's really, really good. You'll love it. And then at the end, we're going to have an awards dinner. We'll have a little potluck thing, and we'll have prizes and things like that for people's results. So a little bit maybe extra motivation for everyone.
Are you going to do that?
Super important. Yes?
Are you going to do the Facebook?
Yeah, we'll make a little Facebook group. If you haven't, so when you sign up, I'll try to make a list, and then we'll make a private Facebook group. You can talk about recipes and this and that and all that kind of stuff. And also, everyone that is going to do the program this time is going to have an accountability partner / friend. So everyone is going to hook up with someone, and this is going to be your accountability partner. And if you're weak, it's like the 12-step program, whatever. Help me, and then run over and say, don't do it, and so we're going to save you, we're going to help you. So you have a partner, we're going to do that. Any other questions? Yes?
As far as we work out doing the CrossFit,
Yes.
and then eating like this, what would be the best strategic or whatever way, like timing wise, like before a workout or whatever?
Good question.
Come into the workout with the best energy.
Yeah, great question. We didn't talk about, sports nutrition, protein. We should really mention that. I need to mention that. Okay, so carbohydrates. So in CrossFit, it's high intensity exercise that in a certain intensity level. So we have this curve where if you're like, we're all sitting here, we're aerobic. We're breathing and we're alive and we're aerobic. If we got up and sprinted out there, then we would be anaerobic, and we would be glycogen supplied. So the glycogen stored in our muscles and our liver, that's what we're utilizing for energy in a high intensity thing. And then there's a curve, and we have a little bit of both all the time, but mostly glycogen, mostly aerobic. And so the more the intensity, that's how that goes. So CrossFit is well known as a high intensity exercise modality. By the way, CrossFit is the best exercise, to the best of my knowledge, the best exercise modality in the world today, done well with a good coach. And that's a really big deal, with a good coach, because there's a lot of garbage out there, like everything. So there's good brain surgeons and bad brain surgeons, and so it's like that. Okay, so then we need carbohydrates. So there's a lot of talk about carbohydrates, how much we need, whatever. So if you take the most elite athletes in the world, So let's say we're talking about the top 10, 20 CrossFit athletes in the world. They have incredible work capacity. They eat surprisingly few carbohydrates because they want a strength to weight ratio. They don't want to screw up their insulin. They want to have blood sugar crashes and lows. They want to feel awesome all the time. And so they have limited carbohydrates. So sometimes we tend to think we need more carbohydrates than we do. So a lot of athletes will time the carbohydrates. There's one of the most renowned strength coaches in the world says that you have to earn your carbohydrates. I totally agree with that. So one can have carbohydrates before, one can have carbohydrates after. Basically, we're looking to have enough carbohydrates or glycogen stored in our muscle. Carbohydrates are going to give us the glycogen in our muscle to have a solid workout. And then we need enough to replace that, to recover, to do another solid workout. So we need enough carbohydrates to replace glycogen. So that's kind of like the thing. So because we're going to use glycogen in the workout. We don't need a ton of glycogen or blood sugar floating around during our workout. We need it in our muscles because that's kind of where it's coming from first. So we just need enough to do that. So it's surprisingly, high-level athletes do not have as many carbohydrates as you would think. And they actually, some of them weigh each and every meal they ever have, and they've got 4 strawberries, 3 raspberries, they've got broccoli, they got this, and they have it all weighed out. And it's far less than one would think. So if we have too much, we're still going to get the insulin stuff going on, and it's going to screw us. We're going to have a worse workout. We're going to store fat. It's just that simple. Too many carbohydrates, store fat. If you want to lose, eat fat. If you want to gain weight, eat carbohydrates. Honest to God, it's that simple. Or too much of it, you know what I'm saying? So we don't need as much as we think, and one should experiment. One should earn their carbohydrates. So you can experiment with having a little bit before. I would have it after post-workout because your muscles are then primed to replace the glycogen. You're primed to recover from the exercise, and you're primed to replace the glycogen. I think carbohydrates are more important after the workout than before. Too much before will screw you. Yes. Oh, you're just stretching. Okay, and then protein really quickly. Does that help? And so I didn't say how much.
Everybody's different.
Everybody's different, and I would experiment with having very little before, and experiment with having however much after. And if you're a CrossFit athlete working hard and you're gaining weight and you have belly fat, you're having too much carbs, straight up. Good. So that whole tell the truth thing, you know, so some people get to a whole seminar and never say the word fat. Okay, fat is fat. It's fat globules. It's adipose tissue. It's fat. So I'm not shaming anybody. It's fat. It's muscle. It's skin. It's bone. It's whatever. It is what it is. And if we have too much of something, we want to get rid of it. If we don't have enough of something else, we want to get rid of it. If you don't have enough muscle, get some. We need that stuff. It's important. Go get it. Do whatever you have to do. Do some exercise. Come to CrossFit. Work out hard. Get it. Eat right. So we have to do these things. We don't go to Walmart and get a sale or something. Yes?
Is there a protein powder that's over even fine?
Thank you. That's where I was trying to get. Okay, so once upon a time, no dairy was allowed in the Whole30. We want to get away from dairy. Dairy is very allergenic. I can talk about dairy for a while, but I don't want to because we don't have enough time. You guys have to go home. So, no dairy. But I said, we are athletes. If we have a organically sourced whey protein with no artificial ingredients, then as athletes, I'm saying, I don't care about the Whole30, you should do this post-workout or before workout. The big thing about that, you can have post, you can have early, whatever, it doesn't matter, we need protein, and you can do that. And so then, shortly after that, I love this. I shouldn't, it was all about ego, so I screwed myself now. Now I'm stuck. So then I said that, I made it the rule, and then shortly after that, the Whole30 said, yeah, we're gonna do this is allowed. And so I'm like, yeah. Okay, so, sorry, I did that, I shouldn't have made such a big deal about it. Okay, so then, and then they go up and down with stuff. You can't have salt because there's dextrose in it, whatever. They go up and down. They're trying to keep, like 10 million people happy out there. A lot of people have done the Whole30, it's a very, very good thing. And so, they're trying to make guidelines that are reasonable for everybody, and now they allow salt. Well, there's like all kinds of healthy salts you can get. So, well, what a coincidence, because we're health fanatics here. We just happen to have 2 brands of that protein that is grass-fed, no artificial substances, blah, 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 blah. It has no artificial flavor. It's not going to jump out at you like a pizza. Okay, so then we have that here. And then to make it a little bit cleaner, so if a person has dairy problems, and a lot of people don't know they do, then we need to reduce the amount of dairy substances in that. So that means we now have to have the whey protein isolate. And so the isolate removes a lot of the more dairy-ish substances, and it's just the protein. So if a person is working out hard and they want to take a protein supplement post-workout, then the protein, the isolate that's up there is, in my opinion, a good choice. People who have a protein supplement post-workout and then stop, as in the Whole30, they just stopped it, they do not recover as well, they're not as strong in the next workout. There's a gazillion studies about protein and whey protein and post-workout and all that kind of stuff. Another thing about protein, most women in America do not eat enough protein. We've been told for 25 years that fat is bad, red meat's bad, all that kind of stuff. I was listening to something the other day, a person who studies only amino acids, and they say whenever we have protein, we should have a bolus dose, which means we should have all of it at once. We should have 30 to 40 grams of protein at a sitting 3 times a day. How much protein should a person have? The best science out there right now says about 0.7. If you are an athlete, and you're working out, 0.7 grams per pound of body weight, or close to an ideal body weight. So, if someone is really overweight, we don't want to go there, because that's not like ideal body weight or like close. So a lot of these formulas can't come from lean body weight, but we kind of